And we are live. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We have an awesome set of people here today that are going to be breaking down some of their recent deals so that you can see this is really possible. Um, we are so excited to be able to kind of share some wins within the community. And, who knows, maybe our guest here today might have some opportunities that you would like to be a part of in the future. So Jason is going to be asking Jacob and Mike and Brendan all kinds of questions about their experience with the community and with their deal making structures. So without further ado, I'll hand it off to Jason and I'll be in the back answering any questions that you might have and given any resources that we might need throughout this live.
Appreciate. Thank you, Alex. And thank you to Morby Media. I think this is an amazing opportunity for people's stories to be heard. I mean, you guys are all doing great things in the community and it needs to be heard. And similar to what Alex said, it can be easy and it can be done. And some people just need that social proof, right? So I'm glad for the opportunity that I get to showcase people like you. And I'm glad for you guys, being people of action to step on and say, hey, I've got a story to tell. So that's awesome. So first of all, a little bit about me. My name is Jason Bates. I am a Subto and Gator student, as well as a top tier certified TC. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Venture Vibes Fund, where we raise private capital for RV parks, boutique hotels, and other vacation properties. Any accredited investors out there, reach out to me. I got a RV park in Northern Texas under contract, about a 19% cash on cash and a 32.5% projected IRR. So I'd love to talk to anybody about that. And I'm also the co-owner of Finish Line TC Services. But the cool thing about this is you guys aren't here to hear about me. You guys are here to hear about these amazing gentlemen. So, Mike, I want to start with you. What were you doing before you entered the community and before you got into real estate and for you got into Subto cars?
So before I got into Subto, I've been in sales for a little over a decade and understand the process of dealing with people and just relationships, let alone just closing good deals and making things make sense. When it came to real estate, I kind of understood there was an opportunity to get in and create my own wealth, create my own opportunities, create, things that made sense. And then through that kind of learning journey, I learned about Subto, joined the community, everything changed. And when it came down to cars, that came organically through Subto because Pace always talked about the F-150 story and talked about how you can Subto anything. I needed a car at the time. Long story short, got into that space and started blowing it up. So that's a little bit about me and, love to hear about you guys.
Awesome. So, Brendan, same question to you, my friend. What were you doing before you got into real estate and into Subto?
Yeah. Yes, sir. So super pumped to be here. I was actually in college working at a McDonald's and I'd work like 40, 50 hours a weekend, opening the store, closing the store. And I found a podcast, Sunday Service, Basil's old podcast, and just started listening to that over and over and over again and just blew my mind. So started listening to that, learning, and then eventually became a student and now here to help people.
The student has now become the teacher. I love it. Yeah. I love it. What about you, Jacob, my friend? What were you doing before you got into Subto or got into real estate?
So I'm currently a fireman. I'm coming up on my 20th year, so getting ready to retire. And I needed something to do after. For anybody out there who has fireman friends or cop friends, just know we're an untapped resource. We get paid pretty well. And in this market, there's a lot of individuals who are looking to move or increase the size of their home, and with the interest rates as they are, they can't do that. So if you can bring them value through a Subto, then that's an untapped market, I think. But going back to what I was doing, I'm getting ready for retirement, and I was looking for a journey, just something to do after, because we retire at 70%. So I can't live off of 70% of my income. So I was trying to supplement that. And then I came across the Rich Dad Poor Dad's stuff. And then Pace does an awesome job with his ClickFunnels. So he popped up on my YouTube. And I just saw what a go-giver he is. And this episode is a good example of that. He's taking students within the community and he wants to broadcast us and just show that it can be done. to get people out of that analysis paralysis, and then just giving us an opportunity to work together and just expand our business. So it's awesome. So that gentleman came across my YouTube feed, and I was like, I'm all in. He was giving away a house to a single mother, and I was like, I can be a part of that. I like the whole go giving attitude of our community. Anybody who comes in usually has that same heart, and it's awesome to do business with like-minded individuals.
Nice. So, I mean, that's very powerful reason why, right? You saw somebody who was given more than he was taken, and you needed to solve a problem, which is a 30% gap. So that's a great reason to join a community like this. And we know it's a community because Pace never does anything alone. Even a day with Pace is with 100 people. So he's always about bringing people together. So that is an excellent point, Jacob. I'm glad you brought that up. Mike, what about you? What made you decide to join the community?
You want to go fast alone? You want to go far together? Like it doesn't make any sense to try to figure all of this out on your own, to be honest. U2 University was a way that I learned about like real estate. I started off in doing Airbnb, like arbitrage. That was my introduction to the real estate world during the pandemic. You start to really figure out it's way more massive than what you understand. You can sell whatever you want to sell, but selling real estate is a whole different, kind of world, and you need to really understand a lot of stuff. And you need network, you need people, you need community. And I was definitely failing trying to do it by myself because I figured I could go fast, but I through the journey and what Pace has done, he's very good at making himself known. He's a good example for any of us that want to get into the space to make ourselves known and know what an example is. He made it so that I eventually found out. And I was like, all right, cool. Let me go ahead and join. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it was a no-brainer at that point. I actually worked for someone else as a contractor to close on their files. And they understood and taught me the basics of creative finance. But with Pace, it just made the whole world a difference.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And the cool thing about being in a community is you get to meet like-minded people, and you end up, partnering with them or doing things with them. And I've always said it's fun to make money. It's even more fun to make money with your friends. So that part is really cool.
Facts.
Brendan, what about you? What made you decide to join the community?
I was really just kind of an analysis paralysis. I tried doing stuff while I was working, and I kind of went all in. I joined the community. I quit my job, and I said, I'm going to give myself 6 months to figure out this real estate thing and have enough money saved up and just try to grind. But I knew I needed those people around me when I didn't know how to fill out a contract, or I didn't know how to talk to a seller, or didn't know if this was a good deal or bad deal, that I needed people around me versus just sitting there and going to find YouTube or something, but not really know what I'm looking for. So it was really just a good direction. And Subto does a really good job of finding mentors for you.
Yeah.
And they can just guide you to level up so much faster, like Mike was talking about.
Nice. So you gave yourself 6 months. How long has it been?
I've been in the community for like 4 years, 3.5 years.
Okay. So you blew way past the 6 months.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I think that's the point I wanted to make, right? We all say, okay, well, how can I monetize this? How can I get my first deal? And then once you get past that hurdle, then the floodgates open, and then you're looking back 4 years later.
Right.
So that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your deal. How did you find it?
My first deal, or the one in New Mexico.
The one you were interviewed on, the one you want to talk about here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a really big helper. I like trying to help people who need the financial stability or just the dream of real estate. And one of my buddies had quit a 9-to-5 job. He actually lives in a rental of mine, and he's like, I want to do real estate. So he was calling agents for me, and he found this lead, and they had been brought Subto the agent and the seller probably a dozen times. They said, no. And we really tried to focus on educating and trying to make them know that we can protect them. And we're able to kind of win them over and get them under contract. And then Jacob helped dispo it. But it really all started with just bringing down the barriers that agents and sellers have from not knowing anything about Subto, and really just trying to teach them that it can be a blessing and not a curse. You just have to do it the right way.
Nice. Jacob, anything you want to add to that?
No, other than going back to the community aspect of it all, if anybody is out there and they're questioning, do I have the means to get into this community, know that I was able to get in, and they put me on a payment option. So the money really shouldn't be the option, and the value that you get from being inside the community is just like this. You gain access to the private Facebook group. That's where Brendan reached out to me from. He said, hey, do you have a buyer in Albuquerque? I started my own creative community meetup over here in New Mexico. And so I had been reaching out to investors who were looking for properties, and it just so happens he's providing value to me, and I can provide it back. And it's within that community stream of, hey, let's go out. I don't have to do it all myself. I can go out to my other family members, I'll call them, because I really look at a lot of us as being family. And now they have what I need. And it, like Mike said, it's a way that you can go a whole lot farther than trying to do it on your own.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute great point. And I would even go as far as saying, okay, let's say you're not quite ready for the private Subto community. Get in there and get in the free creative group, and partner up with people, ask questions. As a Subto student, I found one of my best cash flowing deals from somebody in the free creative group. That property I bought on the Gulf Coast of Florida. I pay $550 a month to the seller. I rent that sucker for $2,600. It is my best deal, and I got that from the free group.
Yeah,
so
bro.
There's a lot of power in that group, and there's a lot of Subto students in there willing to help. And you talk about finding a way to make it work. I was talking to a Gator the other day, a new Gator, and he was in a challenge where they were giving away Subto memberships to the top 10 people, and he was person number 5. And he just said, I took action and did what I was asked, and I got a free entry into Subto. So that is huge. So just Pace is giving back around every corner, and sometimes you don't even see it coming. It's amazing. Mike, how did you find your deal? Tell us a little bit about it.
For my first deal,
or the deal you were recently interviewed on. Either one, your call. What do you want people to learn?
Shoot, bro. So like, I'll probably say with like in respect to vehicles, like we get a lot of referrals. We get a lot of opportunities that come in because of the experience. But when I first started, it came from learning that this was an actual problem, and it was like real, that it could be solved for a lot of people. So I needed a car at the time, and Pace inside of Subto, as he always does, gives much of value. He'll give the contracts and he'll show how the stuff works. He didn't do that with the cars specifically.
That's right.
He dropped the contracts.
Yeah, that was you.
Everybody remember that, right?
Yeah.
So, if you needed a car at the time, usually we like to be spoon fed because he gives so much. It's like, bro, take action, figure it out. I think with the contracts, I read the contracts. I talked to a bunch of DMVs around the country, talked to different insurance agents, the whole nine, and just learned what the process was, and if it was real or not. Do your own due diligence. Found out it could be done, and I went to a Turo group. Long story short, made a post. Hey, are you willing to sell me if you're underwater? Went viral. First post, and I realized it was a major problem. So that's how I found like the first deals when it comes to cars, because I was able to close them and say, hey, you have a problem, we can solve it. Keep the loan in your name. We'll use your credit. We'll make the payments on your behalf. We'll button it up properly with all the paperwork and the process and the DMV and insurance verification and the whole nine. Then it just came to just finding people who wanted it, and you realize it was a problem on both sides. That started to open up a bigger issue of just kind of realizing that just like houses, just like business, like it's very hard to find opportunities. Everybody's dealing with life that is much more expensive, but nobody's really making more money. So the systems that have currently been in place are not working. So we have to now reapproach it with a creative aspect and teach people how to do it without a system that's stopping you or saying that you can only do it this way. So that's in terms of that, that's how I got the first deals with cars. When it came to houses and stuff like that, completely different story. I know it's a lot of easy ways to deal with that.
Yeah, and Mike, what I like about what you're doing is you're giving a lot of people hope, right? A lot of people. Some people think owning a car is a luxury, but you make it a reality for a lot of people, and I think that's powerful. And I will tell you too that what you're doing is so powerful, and the whole automobile side is so powerful that Molly has been teaching at least the documentation side in the top tier group. So, and I know you use top tier TC, so that's probably just help your business scale as well. So, it's a great, powerful niche, and I think you're helping a lot of people own cars that normally wouldn't.
Yeah, man. And the crazy thing too is like there's an opportunity for people who could normally just own cars but don't want to do it the traditional way because they see the same thing we see. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You kind of look at a deal and it's like, bro, that is a horrible deal.
Yeah.
But if you go to a dealership and they're charging you XYZ, say you're an entrepreneur, you make a lot of money, but your credit may not be as strong. So they're going to still tax you. So you make money and then you lose money just on having to live life. You don't have to do it that way. You don't have to follow the same rules that somebody tells you, this is the system, this is the way it's done. You can do what you want to do. And that's what we try to empower people with.
What do they say? If the bank's involved, the bank makes money. If the bank's not involved, everybody else makes money.
Yeah, right, bro. Yeah.
So how is the community involved with your deal, Mike? I know you use top tier TC, and you get a lot of referrals. Any other parts of the community get involved with what you're doing?
Yep. So we have the official Subto car community called the Top Method. It's a Facebook group, Subto car community. We're also expanding that. We'll have it on other platforms as well. But we also built a web app called sellerfinance.io. We launched that mid-2024 last year, and we're expanding it to a 2.0 version with my partner Vitaly. We have that as a marketplace for people to buy and sell creatively. You don't have to do any finding on Facebook Marketplace or convincing sellers and buyers and things like that to go ahead and handle your deals. It's all done on the web app, sellerfinance.io. We also teach people what the process is inside of the Facebook community so that you can come in, learn the game, learn how to protect yourself, all of the questions that people normally have. What happens if somebody stops paying? What happens if they get abducted by aliens? The same way we talk.
Yeah.
Right? What happens if, there's an accident? What happens? All of that stuff, the DMV, insurance, the whole nine. We pull back the curtains so you understand how to recreate the process for yourself so that it works for your deal. If you have a car that you're sitting on that you're going to have to bring money to the table to sell, or it's been sitting in your lot and you can't sell it, it's paid off, you need to get rid of it, but you want a certain number, use the Top Method to go ahead and handle that. Same thing as a buyer. If you are in a situation where you're trying to buy a house, trying to get approved for a loan, you just don't want to go the traditional route because you're going to pay the banks and you're not going to make out on a deal. Whatever the case, you can use creative finance to handle that, and you can use the Top Method to execute it with a car.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a great example. So if I'm buying an RV park, if I went and got a commercial loan, it would cost me between 11 to 12%. The seller is willing to carry the note for 4%. I will pay 4% to a seller. I'd rather go in his pocket and his family's pocket than a bank all day long. And at least he's giving me practical terms that I can at least cash flow with.
Right.
So, so that's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, Brendan, what about you guys? How has the community been involved with your deal?
Well, first of all, Jacob, I had to have a dispo person because I didn't know anybody who lived in New Mexico. So I had to find Jacob through the Subto grapevine of everything, and he's a great leader there. So that was probably the biggest thing, is without having the community, I probably wouldn't have been able to find a buyer for it because it didn't cash flow as a long-term rental. It had to be used as a sober living home. So that was a huge aspect. And then we also used Perla Argyle and her team, their top tier TC.
Yep.
So those are probably the two biggest things, is just having a dispo person because I didn't know anybody there, and then TC.
Nice. You guys didn't use anyone from Gator?
I don't usually use Gator for my wholesale deals. I
Gotcha.
typically have it where the EMD is not due until the end of the inspection period, and I just disclose that I'm wholesaling it. for most of my deals.
I love it.
I try to avoid it.
Well, I really think it's cool how Pace set it up, right? You book in the deal by having the top tier underwriting on the front end, the top tier TC at the back end, and in the middle you have the creative finance and Gator EMD or PML. And so you can be involved with all aspects of the deal or a part of the deal. And it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I really
much.
love it.
It really lets anybody in any avatar be able to have a role in the deal and be really successful. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of time or a lot of money, or you're good with numbers, or you're good with paperwork, whatever it is, you can have a way to get in real estate. You just got to figure out that niche.
Yeah, and that's and you make a great point, because in the Gator Group, I've helped so many people that wanted to buy a property sub 2, but they're not in sub 2. They kind of they have a basic understanding, and from a lender side, they've lent on sub 2 deals, but they just don't know all the ins and outs. So between being a sub 2 student and a top tier TC, I've helped people actually from the Gator Group acquire sub 2 and seller finance properties without even being in the sub 2 community. So that's a really, really good point.
Yeah.
So Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, one of the other aspects of having the community and the creative Facebook group is our community as well. So you don't necessarily have to put in. I know I pitched up to before, and I do not want to dissuade you at all, but there is so much information in what Pace gives. Yep. Every newbie that I talk to ends up saying it's like drinking from a fire hose. And I remember being there. And so if you don't have the time to dedicate into learning, but maybe you have the money, you can reach out to the sub 2 community within the creative group. And like Jason said, you can bring a deal, you can fund a deal, you can buy a deal. The mind of Pace blows me away a lot of times, because he already had all of this in mind. And so he has a place for people who, if you don't have time or if you don't have the money to get into sub 2, you can still be a part of the group. Yep. And then if you only have money, you don't have the desire to own the property, but you just want to lend, he has somebody for that. If you love paperwork, which I hate, reach out to me if you love paperwork, because I need somebody to help me out. But there's a way for you to make money, and it blows me away, all of the aspects that he's already put it together, and then he brings it to us in order to work together. And then I get to learn from Mike, and it's blowing me away just hearing the things that he's doing, and Jason, that you're going out and getting the RV parks to expand your mind and to be around some of the awesome individuals, Brendan, and all of the help that he provides. It's so awesome. And the creative group gets to be a part of it as well. So it's so cool.
Well, and that's why I feel blessed about being able to do these interviews. I've met so many cool people that, because the community is so big, I haven't had a chance to interact with them yet. And then I get to interact with you guys here. And then, I get to refer you guys. I mean, look how many people are referring Mike Davis right now in the chat. It's huge. And that's because, he's out there helping, he's out there giving, and sure, he put some money in his pocket, but there's nothing wrong with that, because he's helping. He's got the heart of a teacher, and he's helping first. And that's really all anybody can ask for. So
100%, man. It's add value. And I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned from Pace is value first, is go giver mentality. And even, I don't know if anybody here has read the book Go Giver, because that I know there's 3 versions of it, but overall, just giving first and making sure that you add, not even with the expectation that you're going to get it back, but you just know how it works.
Yeah,
give way more than you expect, and then you will be satisfied or edified, because it's going to come back to you, bro. That's how this world works.
Tenfold.
That's how works. That's how the universe works.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if Pace said it. Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, you good.
Yeah, I don't know if Pace said it, but it's called, or I refer to it as the law of reciprocation. So in the fire department, you will see us go out and do Fill the Boot every year. And so we're raising money for muscular dystrophy. But one of the things that they do is they give us stickers for people who are walking in the stores. And so if you hand somebody a sticker before they go in, they just have of feeling like they need to come out and drop $1 into your boot. So
Yeah.
I'm constantly handing
Like,
those stickers
you
out.
want to
Like,
give
hey,
that to somebody who
yeah,
do you well.
yeah. And so that's where I think Pace has locked it in. I'm gonna give, and I tried to match some of the things that he's doing.
He's a fuselage, bro.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody. They're like, I don't think that he's actually human. I think he was sent over here from another planet, because who can produce that much value? And if I have a chance to ever talk to him, like, I met him before, but it's so much love goes out from my heart, because Subto's changed my life, and that'll always be the little hashtag that I put on my Facebook, because in reality, I'm sure it's the same thing for all of you, but it's changed my life. I wasn't in real estate before, and to go from 2 years ago, from what I've learned, to now being able to broker deals, just have conversations with $1 million properties, it blows my mind. I'm like, I don't even think I should even be at this table right now. And so it's amazing.
Well, and it was funny because the next question I was going to ask you is how has Subto impacted your life, and you just nailed it. I think what's more powerful about Pace is not that he gives so much, but he replicates that giving. So it's not that he stands up, on a Zoom and, preaches all this stuff and gives all this value, but he teaches us how to replicate that same thing, how to replicate that desire to give. And that's really where I see the most power in him, is his ability to replicate that.
Mm-hmm. That mindset strong, bro. It's like right is right, bro. Right is right at the end of the day. And I think with what he has, I think anybody objectively can be like, nobody's purpose. We don't, necessarily like try to pigeonhole somebody in perfection, but we do acknowledge real. I think Pace is one of the realest people I've met, and I think that, like I said, in this community, for anybody that is watching and just looking to understand, like, what is it about these people? Like, why are they so gung-ho on this? Like, you don't prop someone up to be your quote unquote savior, but you do acknowledge real. And if it's like that, it's like that. Right.
Right.
And it's something that could be of a benefit to you, that you don't have to focus on the person, but you focus on the will and the aspect of growth. And I think Pace is a perfect representation of growth. Pace is a perfect representation of understanding. And I think that this community that is built is not just with him. He brings people who are like-minded. There are so many people that are just like him, that are all in the same space. That is like, bro, if you have any, if there was a, what am I thinking? If there's a concert to, like, you have certain celebrities, right? And then they're fans, and you can understand a fan base. A fan base, you can know, all right, cool. Like, say, for example, y'all said a Beehive, or anybody who's fans of Michael Jackson or something like that. You can think of the type of people that they might be, right? And you can also think of, like, all right, cool, whatever side of politics that you're on, blue or red. You can think of the type of people that they might be, right? Because you're following a figurehead, but you're also kind of getting an understanding as to what this type of people are. I'm gonna tell y'all something with this community and Subto. This is the type of people, like the best community that I've seen in real estate thus far. Let alone not even just real estate, but wealth building, mindset building, growth internally. Like, outside of, respect anybody's religion, but when it comes to anything outside of that, bro, that's gonna be the best place you'll find.
Yeah, you make a great point, because I've always believed when you put someone up on a pedestal, you put yourself on the floor, and that's not where we want to be. So Pace always treats us all like we're equals, and so that's to sum up your point into a single sentence, because I thought what you said was absolutely great. That's kind of what my philosophy is I don't put people on a pedestal for that reason. But he just definitely earned everybody's respect, because I can tell you, he's made us all a bunch of money. I know that for a fact. He's made us money. I know I was able to leave my W-2 because of it.
Yeah.
So Mike, if you could put it in one sentence, how has it Subto impacted your life?
It has changed my perspective on my life.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. What about you, Brent? No, that's perfect. I couldn't say it any better. That is amazing. And that's really all we need, right? Is at the end of the day, if people out there that are successful, they're not doing it better than you. They're just doing it different. Once you figure out what that difference is, then you can do it too.
Mhm.
It's really that simple. And 9 times out of 10, it's about changing that perspective.
Right.
So that's a great point. Brendan, what about you? How's it impacted your life?
I would say it's put me in a position to help change other people's lives for the better, which has in turn made my life more of a blessing than I could ever have imagined. There's been so many deals where I've helped somebody who's not been a student. One of my very first deals as a Subto student, I was helping a guy who had broken his leg, couldn't work, wasn't collecting any checks, was a UPS driver, didn't have any money coming in. He told me his account was negative. And I was able to get him a wholesale deal. He made 10 grand off of it, more money than he's ever made in one check in his entire life. Now that guy is running his own poker business. So, yeah, just being able to help someone who was probably at the bottom, where if I was in his position, I would be freaking out, couldn't breathe. And that wouldn't happen without this community. Being able to give people hope, being able to give people the willingness to just put in the work and grind, and saying, no matter what you're good at, we can find something for you. You just got to be willing to put in the work with whatever skills and talents you've been blessed with.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. And it's funny. I've seen a lot of people very successful in real estate springboard into other businesses. So it really becomes a platform to launch you into other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a great point. So, Brendan, what would you say would be next on deck for you? We're in 2025. What does this year look like for you?
It's going to be a lot of the same as last year. A lot of wholesale, trying to do direct to agent with hoping the market, the rates will lower. So it'll kind of heat that up some more. But really just trying to help new students, new non-students launch their businesses any way I can. That's really kind of my focus with my business, is I reach out to people who are in the community who need help and try to just help them get as many deals as they can. I'm guessing there's a lot of people listening in who maybe have never done a deal. So that's really my focus every day of my life, is just try to help other people and then reciprocate that, hopefully in a blessing for myself and tenfold for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, right there in the comments, it looks like Nisha Hill is looking for someone to team up with. So you're right. They're right there in the comments.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So Nisha, you came to the right place. I hope I'm saying your name right, but you definitely came to the right place if you're looking for people to partner with. Mm-hmm. Jacob, what about you? What's on deck for you, my friend? What's 2025 look like besides retirement?
Yeah, 2026 actually. Yeah, It's going to be awesome.
Oh, wow.
But I'm trying to build a team over here in New Mexico where investors. So I'm a Hispanic, right? So I guess I can't speak for all Hispanics. I can't be like, oh yeah, I'm the top person. But what I can say is, at least in my family, we're a working class people. And so to go to school is abnormal, like college. I told my grandpa that I was going to go to college. And he was like, why? Why don't you just go get a job? And so for the most part, being an entrepreneur is a thought, and it's never really something that we turn into reality. And so I want individuals here in my community to know that I'm not different than you are. And so that's one of the things that Pace has done with this community is he said he tells us all of his shortfalls and things that have happened. And then he gives you a framework on how you can move forward to make money and to be your own boss. And so I'm trying to build a team in 2025 where we can collab together, bring money, deals, anything of the sort, just teaching, letting them see my phone calls so that they can have some sales training. I really want to be more of the teaching aspect and bring Subto to the community out here in New Mexico.
I love that. And I'll just reiterate something I said a few minutes ago. You might be different. You might not be different, but you're definitely doing it differently. And that's what you're willing to show people, is how you're doing it differently so that they can be successful too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's in your voice, bro. Like sometimes the message just comes across where they may have heard it on the internet before, they may have heard it from somebody else, but when they hear it from you, it's about how you do it differently, or how you say it, that they relate to. And you can use that to help somebody. So you stepping out there and want to teach, that's love.
Great point, Mike. So, Mike, your turn, buddy. What's up next for you? What's 2025 look like for you and your team?
So for our team, we're going to help a whole lot more people with auto space. We're going to, for anyone that ends up watching, we want you to be comfortable with this process of like taking over payments and seller financing vehicles. So whether you got a car, truck, boat, RV, plane, the process is a lot more cornbread and common sense than it may seem on the surface. But we're going to grow our application. We're going to grow our community and make it so that it's easy for anybody to get into this space and handle any of these transactions. The government is not going to change how they're making life expensive. The gap between the rich and the poor is going to continue to grow. So the combat to that is knowledge of how the systems work. And what we want to empower people with is the game on how the system works, so that you can use it to your advantage and go back to doing things with each other rather than being dependent on, I have to talk to a bank, I have to talk to a such and such, I have to talk to, like, you can do this on your own. And we want to make it very easy for you to be able to do it. So that's 2025. Some of our biggest goals is to empower the community, let alone do way more transactions than we did last year. We did a lot of them. So
I love that. It's funny you mentioned airplane. I know for a fact my partner Jay Holder went so bad to do a plane transaction.
yeah, I know. This is wild. Like the FAA is definitely different, but
Yeah,
it could definitely be done. It could definitely be done.
nice.
Yeah.
So Mike, I mean, you've said a lot of really cool things today. What would you say to someone who was on the fence about joining this amazing community?
If you need proof, you gotta look at the little examples that are around. Pace is one example, but if you don't talk to the community, you won't really get it. If you're on the fence and you just need a push, talk to somebody who knows. My line is open. I know there's plenty of Subto students that are open, but if you're really on the fence because you are scared of your own inaction, you got a problem. You should probably stay away and just stick to a job, bro. It's probably not going to be for you. You probably don't even necessarily truly want to. You're just intrigued with the idea. And I'm saying that in a way because I hope that it inspires you to say, nah, Mike, you tripping. I really want this. All right. But you got to do better for yourself, bro. At the end of the day, we don't need you to come in and be indecisive or be unsure or be just purely a fly on the wall. The best thing that will help you is to take the action. You're going to fail. Be cool with that. Be okay with that. The faster you fail, the farther you'll fly. I promise you. But you got to get over the failure. You got to get over worrying about what other people think about you when you're trying something new. You got to get over all of that, bro, because that's what's going to help you grow internally. And when you come into a community like this where we see that type of stuff, we're going to pour into it. We're going to help you. We're going to drag you along the way. When you hold yourself accountable, everybody else around you can hold you accountable. And that's the true path to growth. That's what I would recommend for anybody that's on the fence. If you're on the fence, take action, do it.
Yeah, I like that you said that. My biggest aha moment in life is realizing that failure wasn't the opposite of success. Failure was the reason for success.
Right.
And the catalyst. And so, yes, very, very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan, what would you say if somebody was on the fence about joining this amazing community?
I'd say look at your life for the past 6 months, a year, 20 years. Are you where you want to be?
Yeah.
What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? Subto has really helped me reach some of those goals and aspirations and dreams, and way bigger dreams than I ever thought I could be at. And there's people in this world who they can't take action unless they like join something like this, because they just can't. They just sit on the sidelines and just watch. They just watch hours of YouTube. You're probably watching this right now thinking, this is going to get me one step closer. A lot of what's going to get you closer is just taking that action. And a lot of you guys probably need to join a community like this or join a team like Jacob's trying to build to be able to change your life forever. So I challenge you, if you're on the fence, look at your life. Are you where you want to be? If not, take the leap of faith.
You know, you make a great point that for the longest time I couldn't put my finger on, and that is this community taught me how to dream bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a huge point.
Yep.
Mhm.
Jacob, what about you, my friend? What would you say to someone who's on the fence about this amazing community?
I would say that just like they already pretty much hit it on the head, right?
Yeah.
There's the inactivity that we get stuck on. And what ended up getting me off of the couch or out of that analysis paralysis was Pace saying that exact thing, that you're going to fail. Go cause problems, because in the causing of the problem is when you're going to have to find the solution.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I called on a property. I got it on a wholesale contract. I put the earnest money down. I borrowed it from my father-in-law. And I was like, yeah, we're going to do it. And then it fell through. But I was forced to go try and find buyers and try to find contractors to do some of the work. And that led up to just the progress to get the ball rolling a little bit. And then Pace gives so much free information, but one of the things, it's all nuggets. And the longer that I'm in the community, I'm like, everything that he's saying is coming true. He tells you, go find a buyer first, because why are you going to go market to somebody you don't even know if you have a buyer? I know that that's one of the things that the newbies end up doing. But find a buyer, or find somebody in the community that's in the creative group posting, and reach out to them. Like Mike said, go interview them. See, are they a normal individual? Are they somebody who already had knowledge of the space that you're trying to get into?
Mhm.
And if they're a normal person like you can see that it's a reality that you can achieve. One of the things that they used to call Jordan is Black Jesus, right? And so they put him, kind of like you guys had said, on a pedestal. But when you realize that none of us are any different than you, all it is we're taking action. And
Yep.
so in the action, I guess the better way to say it is, they always say that this industry works if you work it. You have to put the work into it. You can't be like, oh, well, I'm afraid, or, oh, come alongside. We'll put you on a call. You can listen to the calls that I'm on. You bring me a lead, and then you can just replicate it. That's all I do. I listen to Pace. He says something and I regurgitate the stuff that he says. I don't even know what it means some of the times. I'm like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get you a paper that says that you can take the property back if you need. And I'm like, sure. You provide, you listen to the value that's given, and then you just provide it in return. And so I guess the long story short is, provide value to anybody that you're reaching out to. Do you have leads that you can bring on alongside? And then even see if you like it. Sometimes you may not even like what I do. You may not like calling people, but you love the paperwork, or you have money and you just want to invest. The biggest thing that I would say to people who are on the fence is watch the Avatar series, see what type of avatar you are, and then go provide value in that area.
That's awesome. So, Jacob, there's no doubt people are going to want to connect with you. Where can people find and connect with you?
I'm best on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm like a boomer when it comes to anything else. I know Pace would probably slap me right now if he knows that I'm not on Instagram. I'm working on it, but you can also just shoot me a text on the number. I love, like Brandon, I love helping out. I love being able to help somebody just change their mindset. Like you said, dream bigger. That there's a mentality we think that we're stuck in a box, and to be able to dream larger than that is what I would love to be able to bring to people as well.
Awesome. Well, when you do get on Instagram, I'd be happy to follow you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I have a handle. I just don't go over there. So,
well, you know, what's funny is that this is my hack for anybody who has an Instagram account and wants people to follow him. Is when I go to real estate meetups, I show them my QR code for my Instagram before I show my Blink card and say, hey, just, you know, go here, follow me. And then I go, oh, I also have a Blink card. Do you want that too? But really, I want them to follow, because that's where I'm on more often. So that's really the quickest way to get hold of me, especially when it comes to investing and asking questions about real estate. So that's my little gold nugget for everybody watching is, you know, always lead a conversation with your QR code for your Instagram and say, hey, follow me and I'll follow you back, and then start the conversation.
I'm going to do it at the next RIA.
There you go. Exactly. And watch your Instagram blow up.
Yeah.
Hope everybody watching gonna be at Squad Up Summit too.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I missed the last Squad Up Summit, but I heard that there was so many amazing people to interact with, and there was people talking to the wee hours in the morning. It was amazing. I heard.
Yep. Definitely. Super dope, man. Sorry for y'all too, because my camera died. So
no worries. No worries. We got to see your gorgeous face, so we know.
Yeah.
So, Mike, how can people get a hold of you if people want to connect?
Easy call, man. Hit me on Facebook or Instagram at Mike Will Close It. Or you can shoot me a text 443-243-2806. If you got a vehicle issue that you need help with, I'm more than happy to help you. If you have property that you need help closing on, I close cash and creative deals. I close a bunch, close deals in 12 different states, and more than happy to break these deals down for you.
There you go. I love it. Brendan, what about you? How best can people connect with you?
Absolutely. You can look me up on Facebook or Instagram, Brendan Kelley, and then my Instagram is Brendan Kelley 17. My cell phone, 417-214-1242. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Okay.
Anything you need help with, closing, paperwork, getting started, figuring out what your avatar should be, anything like that, would love to be a servant to help you guys get your first deal, your fifth deal, whatever. All of us are here to help you.
Perfect. I love that. Absolutely amazing. Hey, you guys, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be the first interview for 2025. This is awesome. I love it. And thank you for taking the time to share your story because it needed to be heard.
Appreciate you, Jason.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank
Jason.
you so much.
Absolutely. All y'all just emulate the word go giver. Out of all of the sessions that I've moderated, oh my gosh, I loved to hear how much y'all want to give back. And the chat was just popping off with people that want to work with you. So I hope that this 2025 year is filled with teaming up and taking action. So with that, thank you all so much for being here. Hopefully you all can give some more love in the chat for our guests today, because they're not being paid to be here. They're being here because they want to work with you and they want to start go giving. So let's hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, everybody. And I put a comment in there too. But thank y'all for spending the time with us. Hopefully you guys got value out of this. Hopefully you guys can take some action on anything that any of these amazing people have given. And we look forward to seeing growth. 2025 is the year creative finance changes the world. So you guys are in at the right time. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more success stories coming out of this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to top that. There's a mic drop right there.
All righty. Well, we will see you all next time. We'll have another live this coming Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Guys.
Appreciate you, Alex.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys.